Good morning, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Diana Browning, a practitioner here, and I'm taking the place of Reverend Jay because he's visiting his mother in Texas. So I have a wonderful planned experience for each of you today, and I'm really looking forward to it. And we like to begin our service with a song, and that will be Bodhi Starwater.
Good morning. Are you ready to sing? You all know this one by now, right? Okay, good. All that I see, all that I hear, all that I feel is God. All that I have, all that I do, all that I am is God. All that I see, all that I hear, all that I feel is God. All that I have and all that I do, all that I am is God. One more time, let me hear you. All that I do, all that I am is God. All that I am is God.
Thank you, Bodhi. That was beautiful. Well, we like to begin our service by saying our mission statement, and it's on the board. Here we go. So let's say it together. We are an inclusive community for spiritual growth and compassionate action. And our mission, we are co-creating a world that works for everyone by living intentionally, loving unconditionally, and seeing God in all people and all faiths. So we have special guest speakers today. They are actor, author, and Buddhist teacher Peter Coyote and his lovely wife, our practitioner, Laura Keller-Coyote. And I'll give you a little bio about Peter a little bit later. But first, I'd like to start with a few announcements. We have a special one. Come on up, Joanne. That's happening today, and Joanne's going to tell you about that.
So our Pro-Inclusion Napa Positive Poster Project has a special event this afternoon. We have, as you may remember, more than 350 student and youngster created posters on the themes of our core values of respect, acceptance, and kindness. And today opens a special exhibition of some of the posters at the Napa Verasa Westin Hotel. And so it's just a selection of them, but like all of them, they're just totally beautiful and inspiring. So there's a reception, and those of you who are coming, I just want to remind you that it's from 3:30 to 5 this afternoon. And if you're not joining us this afternoon, the exhibition will be up through this whole quarter, so you can go anytime until December 31st and enjoy these posters, and I hope you will. Thank you.
And then also next Sunday at noon, you're invited to a question and answer in our courtyard with a chat by our Board of Trustees to learn how we allocate our donations and ensure our sustainability. So hopefully you can go to that. And then the next Sunday is our bi-monthly donation food drive. So if you have a green bag at home or you need a green bag, pick one up today and bring it back on the 12th so we can replenish the food supply. Thank you. And also on that same day, the 12th, at 12:30, there's the annual Napa Against Hate rally in Veterans Park. It starts at 12:30. And Reverend Jay and Laura are going to be speakers there, so I hope we can make that. Then on Sunday, October 26th, Bodhi Starwater is going to give his fabulous sound journey, and he's going to tell you about that right now.
Indeed. Who's been to one of my sound journeys? All right. So I'll be back here. It's kind of a once-a-year annual event where I get to bring out all my toys and put them up here on the stage and take you on a sonic adventure. I call it sonic puncture. So you can come and just take the time to relax and drop into your being and allow the frequencies to align you into a state of bliss, maybe even. You might even feel good afterwards. So come on October 26th, and I'd love to see you there and look forward to doing that again.
So if you need any more information about our announcements, be sure to pick up one of these flyers because it has a lot of information there for you. So now, something happened here. Okay, I got mixed up. Okay. All right, we're going to begin our sacred service.
Let's all take a deep breath together. 3 breaths. 2 more. In through the nose. 1 more like that. Settle into your inner stillness.
So if you feel comfortable, just close your eyes and know that Spirit is right here in this very room, that all your needs and wants are cared for, that all your prayers and your desires are lifted up to join with the universe to manifest all the good that you have to share, to give, and to shower yourself in light and love. And sit back and relax and enjoy that this day is a perfect day. It's a beautiful day. And the changing season is upon us. So I'd just like to give thanks for my life and all the wonderful experiences that happened to me. And as you've known me for many years, or those who don't know me, it's been quite a road, and there's always ups and downs, and I've shared those with all of you. But there's always light. So whatever you're feeling and know about your anxieties or your sense of unwellness or whatever, it's all passing. Everything closes on its perfect time. And so I just send love to each and every one of you, and know that you have within you that spark of all-knowing wisdom that knows what to do and when to do it. And follow that soulness within you. And I give thanks for this. And so it is. Sure. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Thank you.
I drove a long way to sing this song.
Away from Shasta.
Staying on the spiritual path. Well, what about finding this spiritual path in the first place, right? I mean, I remember times when it seemed like there wasn't one. So you've got to follow that call. Oh, when darkness comes over you and the struggle has blocked your view, and all your people are far away, and the life looks like a masquerade, you've got to follow. Follow the call. You've got to follow. Follow the call. Every answer is usually hidden inside a question, often forbidden. Seek direction from the wind. Trust your nature and look within. You got to follow. Follow the call. You got to follow. Follow the call. You've got to follow. Follow the call. You got to follow. Follow the call. You got to follow. Follow the call. You've got to follow. Follow the call. So when darkness comes over you and the struggle has blocked your view, seek direction from the wind. Trust your nature, oh, and look within. You got to follow. Follow the call. You've got to follow. Follow the call. You've got to follow. Follow the call. You've got to follow.
Thank you. Thank you, Bodhi. That was beautiful. Obviously, you are following your call. We appreciate that. And so now I'm going to talk about Peter Coyote, who's also been following his call. And I've read a few of his books, and he's quite had the calling. Anyway, so Peter, actor-writer, has performed as an actor in over 160 films for theater and TV. His work includes some of the most distinguished filmmakers. He is a double Emmy award-winning narrator of over 150 documentary films, including for which he received his second Emmy in 2015. Mr. Coyote's memoir of the 1960s counterculture, Sleeping Where I Fall, which received universally excellent reviews, and a chapter of which won a Pushcart Prize for excellence, has been in continuous print since 1999. His second book, The Rain Man's Third Call, an irregular education about his mentors and the search for wisdom, was nominated as one of the top 5 nonfiction books published in California in 2015. Recently, he published The Tongue of the Crow, his first book of poems, and The Lone Ranger and Tonto Meet the Buddha, about his workshops with mass and improv exercises to induce altered states. His book, Zen in the Vernacular, was released in early 2024 by Inner Traditions Press, and he just finished his most recent book, Smothered by Riches, about the power of money in our political system. Mr. Coyote is also an ordained Zen Buddhist priest and transmitted teacher, working with his students in Wild Dog Sangha, which I'm really interested to find out about. And so let's give a warm welcome to Peter and his lovely wife, Laura.
Thank you so much. You must be the only person in North America that would address a coyote as Mr.
I know, that's true. A dog. No, thank you. Good morning. We're so happy to be here to do this Dharma Goddess talk for you. And Peter and I created it together. And the thing is, it's things you already know, that all of us know, but it's good to be reminded when our heads are spinning, right? We feel like our hair's on fire.
So these are weighty topics, but we guarantee you it does not go a minute over 4 hours. And because of that, when I was in studying for the priesthood, they gave me a tip that when you're going to give a Dharma talk of some kind, it's usually a good idea to start things with a joke. So since this is a church, I'm going to tell a joke about Jesus. Now I have to warn you about one thing. You may have forgotten this, but Jesus was Jewish. And so in my mind, he talks like my old Jewish relatives. So when I tell you this story, just don't be alarmed by his accent. So Jesus went up to visit his great pal, St. Peter, at the pearly gates one day. And they were standing around chatting, and St. Peter said, well, I got to go to the men's room. Watch the door for me. Jesus says, watch the door? I don't know what to do. What somebody shows up, what do I do? He says, you know what to do. If he has a nice face, you let him in. If he has a big heart, you let him in. If he looks, send him down there. Jesus says, okay, I could do that. I'll see you in a minute. So St. Peter goes away, and while he's there, this old man comes up, a bent old man. He's got a big board over his shoulder. He's got a saw and a hammer hanging off his belt. And he walks up, and Jesus says, hello. The old man says, hello. Jesus says, what did you do on night? He said, I was a simple carpenter. And he looks at Jesus, and he backs up a little bit. And he said, and I had a son who looked like you, with holes in the hands here and here. And Jesus' lip trembles, and his eyes fill up with tears, and he goes, Father! And the old man goes, Pinocchio!
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so we're ready to get started
Okay.
on that light note. So last week, Peter and I were in New York for a publicity event to promote Ken Burns' new documentary, The American Revolution. Set to be released in November on PBS. And the audience had the pleasure of viewing 46 minutes of selected episodes from the film. Peter narrated it. It's fantastic. You should all see it when it comes out. So last summer, I had the opportunity of sitting in the recording studio with Peter and Ken, listening to Peter narrate all 12 hours. The story of the American Revolution is our collective national birth story. It's inspiring, it's brutal, it's enlightening. The revolution is a story of tremendous human suffering and brutality, fought with muskets and bayonets, in miserable weather, suffering from disease and near starvation, in battles pitting brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor. Both armies, the Loyalists and the Patriots, fought with slaves, indigenous Americans, and immigrants from various countries on both sides. We should remember that the Patriots won the revolution by the skin of their teeth. It was so close, and our new country was so divided, and it remains so now.
So the American Revolution can also be understood as a spiritual revolution, exemplifying courage, faith, and enlightened vision, created by our forefathers and articulated in the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Like all of us, our founding fathers were human and imperfect, and they had no real way of knowing the full range of spiritual and political consequences liberated within their newly created democracy. The founding fathers were without exception white, male, land and slave owning, and their definition of all men created equal did not include slaves and women. However, democracy itself contained that promise, and our nation has expanded human freedoms from that starting point. The abolition of slavery, expanding the voting franchise to include blacks and women, the civil rights movement, voting rights, the feminist movement, and the environmental movement, to name a few. These were contentious issues that required commitment, vigilance, perseverance, and sacrifice while maintaining the enduring ideals of our nation.
To this day, many of the unresolved conflicts, contradictions, wounds, and trauma of the American Revolution remain. We still have racism, misogyny, white supremacism, extreme exclusionary religious beliefs, rising authoritarianism, orchestrated by those who would seize our freedoms and constitutional rights to expand their power and wealth. It is a grim prospect to learn that our democracy is so fragile as we witness masked armed agents detaining and deporting immigrants, restrictions on our freedom of speech and press, hateful rhetoric and divisiveness, dismantling of infrastructure and beliefs, benefits, cover-up of sex scandals and trafficking, wars, displacement and starving children, mass shootings and assassination, and denial of science and climate change. Take a deep breath, right? I know watching the news and witnessing the destructiveness can create a kind of paralyzing fear, a molten feeling of hopelessness and inevitability that can lead to the question, does anything really matter? It is easy these days to lose our balance and bearings and get thrown off our spiritual path. The story of the American Revolution is stunningly appropriate to what we are currently facing, a story of inspiration, courage, and fortitude necessary to remain true to the ideals and spiritual truths that established democracy in the first place. The answers to the dangerous dilemma we face today are largely spiritual. How do we stay on our spiritual path? How do we look honestly at ourselves, others, and our world from a place of compassion and healing? And how do we course correct when we fall into the mistaken beliefs and habits? These are the questions we'd like to explore this morning.
So a fundamental mistaken conviction that throws us off our spiritual center is believing and feeling that we're separate. It's an easy mistake to make as we're born into entirely separate bodies. We're not trees or bushes, certainly. We're hyper-focused and enamored with our apparently individual personalities. Our language has trained our minds and perceptions on distinctions, subject, object, verb, trained us in dualistic thinking, good and bad, us and them, right and wrong, creating and justifying hierarchies, othering, and histories of power, greed, domination of women, peoples, creatures, objects, and the earth. But suppose we could try to see ourselves as the universe might, from a standpoint of infinite generosity and infinite acceptance. From such a perspective, we might intuit one infinite consciousness, a divine creative intelligence, which some refer to as God, Goddess, Spirit, all that there is, and it contains everything, is infinite possibilities, unconditional love, and everything manifests from that source. I began to practice Buddhism because it appeared to express an understanding of this intuition about the universe. Buddha's insight was that nothing in the universe actually stands alone. Everything is connected by infinite numbers of invisible umbilical cords. Sunlight, water, and oxygen do not exist to keep me alive. The truth is, they are my life. But normally we don't see them that way. We're trained from the very first moment we're born by people speaking to us and describing how the universe is, identifying us as you and others as me or her or them. Over time, by watching how people react to us, we begin to solidify or codify our idea of a self. We begin to think of it as a solid construct, like an organ. That's the beginning of our loss of freedom and our separation from the rest of the universe. Buddhists refer to this underlying energy as formlessness because it can assume any form. And to be able to do that, it can't have any fixed qualities or characteristics of its own. Buddhists also refer to this as emptiness, meaning on one level, empty of a fixed self. And on another level, that everything is connected. Here's another way of imagining that. Imagine standing on a cliff overlooking the ocean, and instead of rolling waves, there were thousands of little peaks rising and falling, like a choppy day. Every one of those little peaks could represent something nameable in the universe. A man, a woman, an ocelot, a hummingbird, a mountain range, a civilization, a nation. When we rise up from the formlessness of the ocean and assume the shape of something, we say it's living. And when we fall back into the ocean, we say it's dying or it's dead. But actually, what those little peaks forget and what we forget is that none of them have ever for one instant been separated from the ocean. That simultaneous understanding of form and emptiness is the beginning of what Buddhists think of as wisdom. This formless energy contains everything, all positive and negative potentials, the dark and the light. This formlessness is actually our true inner nature. It is awareness itself, next to which all our ideas about the self are like tiny grains of sand. We all arise and are not separate from this formlessness. In the Heart Sutra, an ancient Buddhist text, it says, form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. We're all filled with the positive and negative, the light and the dark, and understanding that our true nature is not separate from the universe means that beside its glory, we also have its shadow sides.
The universe creates a human being who can become Mother Teresa or Hitler, a prophet or a terrorist, an open, loving being, or a stunted and dangerous potentiality. I believe the universe loves all of its creation unconditionally, bestowing equal value and standing on each of us. From the perspective of the infinite universe, even those we consider opponents and enemies are not deficient nor of lower standing. We must struggle to understand this truth about ourselves and others, despite all our habitual impulses to divide the world into good guys and bad guys, spiritual or profane, Republican or Democrat, remembering there's no real separation. Clouds flow around mountains, and neither are harmed. We were all created from a fundamental egalitarian principle and deserve to be here and be loved. If we do not take the time to practice self-awareness and to recognize and discipline our shadow, our own unacknowledged human negativity, anger, resentment, hatred, violence, recrimination towards ourselves or others, we will continually project onto others to maintain the illusion that we are only good and they are bad. Then we can treat them as others. We can suspend our curiosity and our empathy and justify all kinds of further separation, cruelty, and bad behaviors. When these feelings of separation and othering arise is precisely when our spiritual work becomes valuable. We can remind ourselves of the spiritual truth of oneness and act from a place of compassion, curiosity, and kindness. As Valerie Carr states in See No Stranger, "You are a part of me that I do not yet know."
Another mistaken belief is always trying to escape suffering, pretending it doesn't exist, or being so overwhelmed and devastated by it that we're robbed of our birthright of joy and humor and creativity. Many of us grew up in religious belief systems describing suffering as God's punishment for misbehaving in the Garden of Eden, that we are sinners and born to suffer. Especially as women, many are often taught they must endure suffering and are to blame for the sins of mankind. We may long for a world that is all good, but there is no pure place to stand in the human world where we live and die, get sick, and inflict pain on one another. As Mother Teresa said, if we have no peace, it is because we forget that we belong to each other. The Buddha said, "I teach only dukkha," a word that's been mistranslated by early Christian translators as suffering. It's given many people the impression that the Buddha's life was filled with suffering and was devoid of joy. But the Buddha himself defined what dukkha means and was in his first public talk titled The Four Noble Truths, which has been handed down for 2,500 years. This is what he said. This is the noble truth about dukkha. Birth is dukkha. Aging is dukkha. Sickness is dukkha. Death is dukkha. Sorrow, pain, grief, and despair are dukkha. Association with what is unpleasant and separation from what is pleasant are dukkha. Not getting what one wants is dukkha. So basically, Buddha is explaining that dukkha, affliction, is an unavoidable fact of life. He calls this the first noble truth. Now, noble, if it means anything, it means exalted or worthy of respect. And true obviously means real. And it's important to understand this because his implication is it's not your fault. You're not afflicted because you're ignorant, or you're not afflicted because you did something wrong. Everything exists in a peppered wind. Mountains are afflicted by rain and wind, animals by fear and hunger. It's a basic part of existence. The second noble truth is called samudaya, the Sanskrit word for arising. And when we are afflicted, feelings arise and emotions arise. That's not our fault either. Someone cuts us off in a car and we get frightened and angry. Those feelings are not a problem unless we act on them. It's what we do with those feelings that becomes the problem. Running away from what we're feeling, suppressing what we're feeling, or our thoughts or feelings is what leads us to drink, gambling, overspending, being in the wrong bed, or taking drugs. The third noble truth is the first one we can take responsibility for. It's called nirodha, and it's a Sanskrit word meaning a clay barrier around a fire pit, which stopped the sparks and the flames from running into the fields and destroying the crops. Buddha used the destructive imagery of flame to describe negative and destructive emotions called kleshas, greed, anger, envy, jealousy, contempt, which obscure our natural enlightenment, the nature of the universe itself. Buddha's method for containment was meditation, sitting still and undistracted until we develop confidence that we can handle any thoughts or feelings that arise within us. When we've achieved some assurance of that, we are ready for the fourth noble truth, marga, the eightfold path, and we'll get to that in a moment.
How can we live and move forward with courage, compassionate action, and loving kindness when the world feels filled with danger, on fire? Fear constricts us, makes us feel small and weak, so we easily lose our peace and equanimity. We know we must guard against going limbic so that we do not meet hate with hate and harm with harm. This is the essential stability that nirodha, containment, helps us with. It may go by many names in various practices: meditation, prayer, stillness, self-reflection. However, as we are bombarded by negative news and events, many of us, I resemble that remark, feel compelled to do something good and can get caught in the belief that we can save the world. This often leads to being overworked, overcommitted, and a feeling of overwhelming responsibility, with the unintended consequence of neglecting ourselves, our own inner healing work, and our spiritual practices. Many of us have also experienced trauma, perhaps individually, in our families, generationally, and collectively, with many of us being unknowing perpetrators of collective trauma due to our standing and privilege in the world. Prentice Hemphill describes this beautifully in her book, What It Takes to Heal, how transforming ourselves can change the world. When we do not attend to trauma, it can start to permeate our life. The initial pain can hold our body hostage. We often overlook that it refuses to stay within the confines of our singular bodies, that it moves through relationships within our families, our communities, and across societies, multiplying the pain. When we focus on external change without tending to internal transformation, we act out the worst of ourselves in the places it matters most.
We humans are capable of the most creative, loving, and exalted behaviors, and also the most despicable, cruel, and depraved. Our religions and various faiths are also human, and consequently also imperfect. And many over the centuries have committed terrible atrocities in the name of faith, and left a legacy of both personal and collective trauma. Yet all religions and faiths, despite their imperfections in their essence, are similar and contain spiritual truths to guide our lives and make sense of the uncertain and mysterious world. The Dalai Lama captured this essence when he said, "What is needed is, quote, right thinking and a kind heart." The spiritual journey of healing and discovering our true nature always begins within, so that we can then return to the world refreshed with understanding, compassion, loving kindness, service, and alleviating the suffering of others. I said earlier we'd get to the fourth noble truth, Marga, the Eightfold Path. It's essentially the guidebook for moving through the world with, as the Dalai Lama said, right thinking and a kind heart. The Eightfold Path is essentially how we try to model our life after the Buddha's example, how to practice being a Buddha while fully immersed in a secular or a monastic community. There are 8 categories, which are not commandments and they are not laws. They are reminders to search deeply within your intuitions, your Buddha nature, and make decisions in the moment that will harmonize with what the Buddha taught. Your nature, Buddha nature, and the universe's nature are the same. So the first is Buddhist view, which Laura described in her opening, boundaryless, without fixed self, simultaneous understanding and perceiving of reality as discrete objects and one big thing. Buddhist view, a Buddhist speech. Am I speaking kindly and respectfully, fully crediting the person I'm speaking to? Buddhist action. Is my behavior and all my activities respectful and designed to be helpful to others? Buddhist livelihood. Am I making my livelihood in ways that minimize harm to all beings? Buddhist efforts. Are my efforts wholehearted, unstinting, generous, dedicated to modeling the behavior of the Buddha? Buddhist concentration. Is my mind calm and undistracted, paying full attention to what I'm doing, physically and mentally? Finally, Buddhist mindfulness. Am I keeping close watch on my emotions, impulses, and expression to be sure that no negative forces escape my control? Am I taking good care of the implements I use and the earth on which I tread?
Jesus was also an enlightened being and a master teacher of love, who taught us the first 2 commandments were the most important. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. For me, this means to love your own personal and intimate concept of the divine, God or goddess of your own heart and the world that expresses in you, as you, and for you. This is a relationship of mutuality based on unconditional love and abiding affection, which springs from the understanding that the creative energy of the universe itself is sacred. From this point of view, we do not discriminate. As we learn to accept the gift of love from the divine universe, we can learn to truly love and accept ourselves. We can then extend that love into the world to our neighbors and even strangers, which is the way we build community and peace. Love requires empathy, the capacity to put ourselves in someone else's shoes, understand their experience and feel their feelings with them. Our ability to do this is imperfect, and we make mistakes, and we can hurt others in small or large ways. But we can always return and make a repair. We can confess our failings. We can be forgiven or forgive others. And these repairs are part of life. It's like a tree healing from a wound and continuing to live. And this is a process of how we learn to know ourselves, and it's foundational to healing the world. Most spiritual traditions use some sort of prayer as spiritual practice, a medium to communicate with one's conception of the divine, to heal ourselves, others in the world, and to maintain our sanity. I am honored to be a practitioner and to be able to work in consciousness by using affirmative prayer, also known as answered prayer, a powerful spiritual tool. The transformative power of affirmative prayer has 5 steps, and each one is a spiritual practice in itself: recognition, unification, realization, thanksgiving, and release. In prayer, we acknowledge that there is one universal intelligence, God or goddess, formlessness, whatever you want to call it. It's creative, it's everywhere present, and manifests everything. We were created by that and are one with that source. And since that oneness contains everything and every possibility, we can affirm what we want and desire for those, others, and ourselves, and know it is already the truth. It's already done. We can express our gratitude for the good that is already present and already manifests for us and others, and we can release our prayer with complete trust that it is manifesting in perfect divine timing. This is a spiritual roadmap that guides us with each prayer for how we can live in the world, heal ourselves and others, and create a world of good. I feel like right now praying should be a full-time job, every second. When we fall off our spiritual path because the world has shaken us, we can always return to our spiritual practices, be they sitting zazen, other forms of meditation, sangha, which means community, prayer and contemplation, being in nature, and other practices that bring us into stillness and presence. That place of still, quiet presence happens when our bodies are calm and self-regulated. This state of being is our birthright and inherently relational. It's part of our human evolution. It is in the context of meaningful relationships that a baby learns to calm its body and stress response system so they can maintain a state of quiet, alert presence, the state required to fall in love, to learn, to grow. This is also true for us adults. And as we practice this place of presence and mindfulness, we meet ourselves, the divine, and the entire universe, where we can greet and understand the shadow and stranger in ourselves and others, and move into the world with compassion, empathy, curiosity, and peace. As we yearn to heal ourselves in the world, we all know what is destructive and what needs to change. Yet we also need to hold a vision from a place of love of what a future world might be. In the place of meditation, prayers, and dreams, Prentice Hemphill says, we begin healing as our visions for ourselves and our world make us more whole, and we open to new relationships, alliances, and possibilities. As Robin D.J. Kelly, who wrote Freedom Dreams, The Black Radical Imagination, states, without new visions, we don't know what to build, only what to knock down. We not only end up confused, rudderless, and cynical, but we forget that making a revolution is not a series of clever maneuvers and tactics, but a process that can and must transform us. As we circle back to the American Revolution and the spiritual vision and ideals that were held by the Americans who went before us, we can more truly and clearly understand the spiritual path ahead of us. As we hold a vision through our spiritual practices, whether they're prayer or meditation, for a world of peace and kindness that works for everyone, we know and trust it is possible, and it already exists in this moment and our future. My husband just finished writing a book titled Smothered by Riches, and in the conclusion, he summarizes quite concisely what we have been discussing today.
This is also the conclusion of our talk.
It's almost done.
Whether or not the United States can remain a democracy will finally be determined by whether or not each of us can open our hearts and understanding to include those who resemble us least. Not to be grandiose, but it's a spiritual dilemma, a spiritual revolution that allows us to include our fellow citizens with less education or wealth or darker skin and unfamiliar accents into our understanding of what being an American means. And it will be a spiritual revolution and an act of grace and forgiveness for them to include white people when they become the majority. I must accept my anger is part of the problem I'm trying to solve, and it's painful to admit. It continues to be a challenge for me to live up to the standards of my Buddhist priest practice and remind myself moment by moment that we are all the same humans. I've devoted the last 51 years of my life to Zen practice, working to open my heart and mind to remember the single unifying force of the universe that expresses itself as all the world's multiplicities. I may not like that I am made of the same stuff as those who oppose my beliefs, but it's true. I have no more standing in the universe than they do, and I'm not protected from the unintended consequences of my behavior by my good intentions any more than they are. If we believe we are only good, we have ignored our shadow side. When we do that, we always export it to others and treat them as enemies. It's the purpose of all religions, including my own, to help us be mindful of our own negativity so we can pay attention to it and prevent it from leaking past our teeth or energizing our muscles. Strangers will always be consigned to powerlessness unless the majority includes them in their definition of community. This task must include hearts and eyes that see others with more kindness and less fear, understanding that it is the generosity of the sun, water, oxygen, and soil, pollinating insects, birds, trees, and grasses that support all life, including our own. And none of us, not for one instant, has ever been free of the myriad umbilical cords that attach us to the generosity of the universe. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be happy and at peace. And so it is. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much. I wish we had time for questions, but
No.
we'll hang around.
I hope so. That was awesome. Okay, I told you it was going to be good. Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you very much. This is the time for our sharing of abundance.
No, this is first a song, and then we do the abundance. You know, I could stay home next month. you
No,
know?
please. No. I am so sorry. Go for it.
Am I supposed to sing after that? Oh my God. You know, I mean, that was very beautiful. Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you. Well, I've tried so long to do things my way. Gets me in trouble most every day. Now I feel ready to write a new play. If you feel it too, let me hear you say I'm ready to let go. I'm ready to let go. I'm ready to let go. Into the arms cried for oh so many years. All the rough water on this river of tears, thinking I can do it myself and push through the fear. Now when I surrender, I see it's all smoke and mirrors. I'm ready to let go. Yeah, sing it out. I'm ready to let go. I'm ready to let go. Into the arms of spirit. Into the arms of spirit. Well, it seems like forever that I've been holding on, hoping for things to get better with each new dawn. Well, the years roll by. It took some time for me to know the only way to get there, I have to let go. You ready? I'm ready to let go. I'm ready to let go. I'm ready to let go. Into the arms of spirit. 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 Thank you, thank you. Now it's your turn.
Thank you, Bodhi. I'm just so glad that you're here singing me into the right spot. Thank you. All right. So now is the time of our sharing of abundance. And so we have some wonderful ushers to come up, but we appreciate your willingness of supporting our vision and creating a world that works for everyone by participating in this sharing of abundance. So if you feel comfortable, place your hand on your heart and hold your thoughts and your gifts of love as we say together the affirmation on our screen. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. So it is.
God is the source of who I am. God is the dream of what I do. And if it's God I'm talking to, I give myself to be used by you. God is the source of who I am. God is the dream of what I do. And if it's God I'm talking to, I give myself to be used by you. God is the source of who I am. God is the dream of what I do. And if it's God I'm talking to, I give myself to be used by you. God is the source of who I am. God is the dream of what I do. And if it's God I'm talking to, I give myself to be used by you. I give myself to be used by you. I give myself to be used by you. Ready? You.
awesome. Thank you so much, Bodhi. So at this time, if there's anyone here for the very first time, we'd like to acknowledge you. And if you're willing, please raise your hand. We have a gift for you. Yeah, we do have someone for the first time. Good, welcome. Okay. Oh, and there's a young one in the back, too. Good. All right. So I'd like to invite the practitioners forward and say together that we bless you today, knowing that the peace and happiness you seek is also seeking you. We honor your inner radiance as you let your light shine in the world. We are grateful. So it is. So just to remind everyone that the practitioners are here today to pray with you for whatever your needs are, great or small, it makes no difference. And everything that we say here is confidential. So please feel welcome after the service to come up, choose one of us, and get a prayer and renew yourself. I think I need one for myself today. I never want to leave anybody out, especially Bodhi. Okay. So we offer a blessing to all the newcomers. Oh, we already did that. I retyped these notes, and I guess I did it wrong, so that's okay. So, and we have our children. Oh, thank you. Well, that's what I love about this church. You just show up who you are and, let it flow and be the best you can be. And I love you all, too. Thank you. So we have some children today. You guys want to come up? Come on. Yeah. Great. Hi. Hi. Come on up here. Come on up here. Yeah. Okay. What is your name?
Everly. Aria.
Oh, so two beautiful young ladies here. And were you guys in the back? Doing,
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. So they came with their mommy. Yeah, okay. Are there more children? Oh. You never know what's going on in here, but that's all right. They're a whole building away, so I don't know. If they show up, we'll invite them. Okay, so let's stand and do our blessing. Yeah. Okay. Oh, for the kids that are or not here, the ones that, anyway. We love you, we care about you, and we're here for you. All right. And we have, before we go, I have a blessing for you. So repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
I am led by Spirit.
I am led by Spirit.
I am protected by love.
I am protected by love.
And so it is. Oh, did I miss something again? Oh, we have the peace song. Thank you. Man, I don't know. This is what happens when you play with the computer at 3 in the morning. Okay. Let's go, Bodhi.
Let's go. I am a breath for peace. Wherever I go, peace goes with me. I feel peace inside in every breath, peace. And I know the joy of being, and I choose fear to relieve. Every moment love wakes up, and peace is every step. And peace is every step.